the channel. My name is Adam Smith, and inside this video, I'm very excited to announce a brand new series coming to the channel, starting with this video known as Rolling Through. This is going to be a series where I select a game which I've covered in the past in a how to set up and how to play fashion, showing you how to get the game to the table, how it actually flows and operates with instructions throughout, and I take those games I enjoyed covering from the past as well as continuing to play them off camera and now bring them back to the table for an extended gameplay with you guys to show you even more of what that game offers for you. So the very first one we'll be rolling through together is Bloodborne, the board game from Come Games. Now, before we begin, for those individuals that are brand new to Bloodborne, the board game, have never seen it in action before, want to know more about it, I highly recommend you jump out of this video and into the link I'll have in the top right-hand corner right now, which will take you to a showcase I did for that instructional content. It will still take you through a play of the Long Hunt campaign we're about to go through right now, but this series will focus strictly on gameplay, whereas that series focused on gameplay mixed with rules explanations all the way through to help you comprehend how the strategy of the game works and how everything operates. So inside of this video, we're focused on gameplay. We're going to read the introduction from the Long Hunt, and the reason I'm replaying the exact same campaign is because in that prior play, I didn't make it out alive. Now, for the majority of you that watched my prior instructional playthrough from the past, coming into this one, a couple setup differences. First off, the Hunter's Dream, of course, is going to be shuffled and randomized here in terms of the cards available from the start. Visceral, Dash, Cheap Shot, and Defense are the ones available. At the very top here, we have the enemy cards. These three always come in for the Long Hunt campaign, so the same enemies are here, but they do have two sides to their cards, and I've gone ahead and I'm using the different side than the other play for all three of them, so they'll behave completely differently. Also, they have all swapped their icons, so they're not in the same position as they were in the prior play, so this will change things up. And I've chosen to continue rolling with a Saw Cleaver Hunter, coming with a Hunter Pistol, 6 HP, and we'll be drawing 3 cards when we get into our very first round. The Long Hunt introduction of the monsters created by the Beast Plague, the Scourge Beasts, are the most reviled. Once human, these terrible monstrosities are fast, agile, and lethal. As of late, more and more of these beasts have begun appearing in Central Yharnam, and thus we have been tasked with discovering the source of their increasing numbers, as well as eliminating as many as possible. The Long Hunt campaign is 3 chapters in length. Here's the chapter 1 setup card. I've already gone ahead and done this, set up the enemies as we talked about earlier. The tiles have also been set in terms of the deck of tiles. We've got 4 named tiles in the stack, and we also have 2 random tiles because it is per how many hunters are in the game. So if there were 2 hunters, it'd be times 2, which means there'd be 4 random tiles. But as I'm just controlling 1 hunter, it's just going to be 2 random tiles added in on top of the 4 named ones. So a total of 6 tiles shuffled together face down in the tile deck. On the back side of that setup card, we have to start the hunt by revealing card 1. We'll do this in a second. You'll also see if we land on specific tiles, which were named actually on the opposite side of this card we just looked at, like the Courtyard Lamp or the Occupied House or the Ransacked House. If we end a move on those, then we get to reveal a card that will further the story. I found card number 1 as depicted on the back of the card. Flipping it over, we find a hunt mission, and it says, Source of the Scourge. We must take to the streets of Central Yharnam. The number of Scourge beasts grows, and we must leave no area unchecked or uncleansed. We should also gather what information we can from the surviving townsfolk. Perhaps they can grant us insight into the cause of this sudden infestation. It states at the very bottom to end a move on the central lamp tile after you've collected at least 2 insight, and that will allow us to progress the hunt mission, revealing card number 2. Before I dive into my first round of play, let's talk about the win and loss conditions at a high level. So winning the hunt, which is the main goal of the game, is when the hunt mission is completed. We got a hunt mission off to the left. We are aiming to try and complete it, and the game will let you know when you have done this. The game immediately ends at that point, and it is a victory. Now, how can you lose the hunt? Well, at the start of a round, if the hunt track has reached its final space, the players will have one final round to win the game before Yharnam is lost. The hunt track can be found at the very bottom of the dashboard, and there is a marker that starts in the far left-hand position, and it will move across the track if it ever reaches the last space. As I mentioned moments ago, you get that 1 extra round to try to pull off a victory. If you do not, the hunters or hunter has failed in their task, and the campaign ends right there. You'll have to start again from the very beginning of the campaign and hopefully fare better the next time around. Now, when you start your very first round of play, you're not going to advance the hunt track at all, but in every other round, you will advance the hunt track one position. But I do go ahead right now at the start of the round and draw 3 cards from the top of the deck. Here's a look at my hand of cards to start things off. We got ourselves a basic draw 1, a basic stagger, and a basic draw 1. Your hand is comprised of just basic cards right off the beginning. There's 4 different types. You have 3 of each of them in the deck. And as you go through the game and through the Hunter's Dream, you have the ability to tweak this deck and tailor it to exactly the play style you're trying to pull off. I'm going to start things off by discarding this basic card from my hand for draw 1. We got 2 of them anyway. In order to get some movement, we can move up to 2 spaces. With up to 2 movement to spend, an open passageway right here in the same space that I'm in, I'm going to choose to reveal the tile to the west. We got ourselves a random tile. I placed it like so. I could change it so that any of these 2 doors are actually connected if I wish, but I'll leave it like this. We have a monster spawning here based on the icon. That's going to be the Scourge Beast, and there's also some treasure over here. Also, when you reveal a tile, you have to move into the revealed tile. So I've moved in, but I do have 1 movement remaining. But remember, pursuing is something that the enemies will certainly do if you try and run away from them. I've got a point of movement left, but I'm not going to use it. Instead, I'm going to take the draw 1 basic card and slot it in to an attack slot on my trick weapon to engage this Scourge Beast. Let's begin the attack, placing this basic draw 1 card in this / attack slot. And a second we do, we get to draw 1 card. The card off the top was a basic +1 damage card. That'll come in real handy against the Scourge Beast. We'll place this off to the side for now. Now let's flip an enemy action card and see what the enemy is going to do. In this deck, there are 3 basic, 2 special, and 1 ability card, if I'm not mistaken. And we got a basic off the top here, so it'll be doing a quick swipe. The quick swipe is going to be a fast attack, dealing 2 damage. Before I resolve the attack, I have the option to use a dodge in order to evade the enemy attack. Unfortunately, I don't have the card, but if I did have the card in hand, I could use it slotting it into this position right here, which would equal the speed of the attack coming at me. And when you use a dodge, as long as it's faster than or equal, you can completely outright evade the attack coming towards the hunter, which is awesome. I just don't currently have that. Now, the other thing I do have is a hunter pistol that says when an enemy makes a basic attack, which the Scourge Beast just did, I can automatically stagger the enemy no matter what speed it's coming at me. I just flip this over. It's a one-time use, and it doesn't get refreshed until an item or consumable allows you to, or you go back to the Hunter's Dream. So you want to be careful when you use it, but it can come in handy even right now because, well, the Scourge Beast, when it activates in the resolving of the attack, is going to hit me for 2 if I don't do it. I'm going to choose not to do it. We're going to take the 2 damage hit from the quick swipe, so it resolves first, then it comes back over to me for a slash at 2 damage going back to the enemy. All right, so 2 damage getting through, and we certainly don't want to leave this enemy on the game board because it will activate against us in the future. So let's go ahead with the 2 cards I have in hand, and we're going to make another attack. I'm going to go ahead and use my basic +1 damage card, placing it in the quick cut slot, which means we'll do 2 damage at a fast speed. Let's go to the enemy action deck and see what we get. Top card is a special. The special for the Scourge Beast is a combo slash, which will do a medium speed attack at 2 damage towards me. Even if this attack is dodged or staggered, the hunter must dodge or suffer 2 additional damage. So basically what it's saying is you can dodge twice in order to completely avoid it, but even if you dodge once, you're still getting hit for 2 additional damage. So the good news is this is a medium speed, and I'm coming at it at a fast speed with a quick cut, and mine is going to resolve first as we move to the resolving of the attack. My hunter gets to go first, resolving attacks. A quick cut for 1 damage, plus an additional 1 off the basic card is 2 for a total of 4 on the Scourge Beast, and the health is 4. We've killed it. The great news about this is on my trick weapon, it says on kill, we get to draw a card and heal 1. So my hunter gets to draw a card and gets to heal 1, and we also gain a blood echo as well, which we'll place up here. We'll go ahead and draw the top card off the deck. It's another stagger, and we get to heal 1, bringing us back up to 5, which is one of the reasons why I wasn't as concerned that we took that 2 damage hit, knowing that when we killed it, I'd get 1 back. Now with the final 2 cards I have in hand, both are staggers. I'm going to use 1, discarding it to gain 2 movement. I'm going to go ahead and use 1 of the movement to get into the same space as the consumable here. In order to take this, I have to interact with it, which is another card discard, which is my final 1 in hand, discarding the other stagger in order to take this chest. We're going to go ahead and draw the top card of the consumable deck and find out what is there. We got ourselves a lead elixir. This says on attack, it's going to allow us to block 1 damage. That will certainly come in handy. Absolutely no complaints about that consumable. I'll be placing this in my inventory next to my hunter dashboard. Within round number 1, my hunter's turn is done. There are no enemies on the same tile or any adjacent connected tiles, so no enemies are activating right now, so we circle right back around to a brand new round. Let's begin round number 2. We move the hunt track marker 1 position. My hunter is now allowed to discard as many stack cards from hand as I want, but I don't currently have any because I used them all in my last round. But we're going to replenish back up to 3. So let's draw and see what we get. We got ourselves a basic +1 damage. That's nice to see. We got a dodge. That's awesome. This is definitely a solid hand for going after an enemy. So maybe we need to do some exploring and see if we can find somebody to try and take out and make some progress here. I'm going to go ahead and discard my basic dodge card here in order to get some movement. We're going to go ahead and reveal the connected alleyway here to this tile. Let's go ahead from the tile deck and see what we find. We got the ransacked house. There's only one connection to it, so it's going to connect just like this. And a number of icons we have to go ahead and spawn. We got some good consumables in that ransacked house, but there's a hunter mob in there as well as a scourge beast. Have to move into it. I have one more point of movement, and this is where things get interesting. Do I want to move into the same space as both of these individuals at the same time? Probably not. I don't have the number of cards I would need to try to take both of them down, and I'd be putting myself in a pretty bad spot. It makes more sense, I think, to back up. So I've done exactly that, spending my last movement point to go back south out of the tile I was currently in, which means that these two individuals are going to be pursuing me. If I move out of a space or the tile, then pursuing happens. Now, when this individual, the Scourge Beast, gets activated from a pursue, it's going to move up to 2. So it's going to end up in the same space as me, and this one here is going to be moving 1 forward. It certainly isn't good. I'm going to hold on to the 2 cards that I have in hand. I'm debating flipping my trick weapon, but that would not leave me with many cards to try and attack back when these enemies come at me. So I'm going to go ahead and just hold tight right here. So we'll end off the hunter's turn. We're going to go into the enemy activation, which goes across the enemies based on the icons from left to right. So it's going to be the hunter mob first, which is right here. And again, it's going to activate anybody that's on the same tile as my hunter or connected to going across the row. So hunter mob is first, moving 1 into the same space as me, and they're going to initiate a combat. Going into this attack, I'm going to go ahead and put a dodge into my heavy carve, which is going to essentially clear the slot immediately. It will provide me a slow 3 damage attack, however, so we'll go ahead and place this in the discard pile. Let's find out what the enemy's doing. I'm a little bit terrified at the moment. Let's find out what the action deck throws at us. It's going to be an ability. And so for the hunter mob, coming down to the ability, it says Molotov Toss. So it says at a slow speed before the hunter's attack, so before my heavy carve, move the hunter mob 1 space away. All hunters in the space it left then must dodge or suffer 3 damage. So the hunter mob gets to go first, as we're both doing it at a slow speed, and it states they're moving 1 space away. I can choose where I move them. I'm going to move them over here instead of in front of the ransacked house to kind of get them out of the way. If I had a dodge that I could use at a medium speed, which I don't have a dodge, and I also have the slot for medium speed already filled in, so I can't use it right now, then I could avoid this 3 damage, but unfortunately 3 is coming at me, but I do have a lead elixir. So the consumable I have here says, on attack, block 1 damage. So I'm going to go ahead right now and use the lead elixir, and this is going to allow me to block 1 of the damage coming at me, so I only take 2 damage. So that's going to drop me from 5 down to 3. And unfortunately, my hunter making a heavy cleave attack at a slow speed isn't able to land the 3 damage, as the hunter mob is no longer in its space. Next up, the Scourge Beast is going to activate. It's in the same space as me, so it does not need to move at all. We're going to go right into a combat. I'm going to use my basic +1 damage on the heavy carve, and that's going to be a 4 damage attack. Let's find out what the enemy action card is going to be off the top of the deck. It is a basic attack. As things are getting pretty tight where I'm at, I'm going to use my Hunter Pistol. I think it's the perfect time, and I'm glad I didn't use this earlier. When an enemy makes a basic attack, automatically stagger that enemy. So we're going to go ahead and stagger the enemy so nothing comes through damage-wise, but we're going to go ahead and do a heavy carve through, and that's going to kill the Scourge Beast. The Scourge Beast gets eliminated by a heavy carve. That's going to provide me on kill of a drawing of 1 card, a heal of 1, bringing me back up to 4 health, and also we get a Blood Echo. So go ahead and take a Blood Echo, we'll place it in here. We can have a maximum of 3 here. We go up to 4 HP, we'll draw a card and see what we get in hand. We have a Stagger. That's the enemy activation. We're now going to go ahead and move the marker up the hunt track to the next position and start a new round of play. I could choose to discard the stack card I have here if I want, but I'll hold on to it. We'll draw up to a total of 3. We got ourselves a basic draw 1, and the next one is going to be a basic +1 damage. Let's make some progress into the ransacked house. We're going to go ahead and discard this basic draw 1 card in order to get 2 movement. I'm going to use that movement to head straight into the back of the ransacked house. And as I end my movement on this tile, as it states right on the Long Hunt Chapter 1 missions card, if I end my movement here, I reveal card 12. Let's find out what's going on at the house. Now, as I shifted off a tile that had enemies, I have a pursuit happening, so the hunter mob that was here has shifted over as they try and head north towards me. I'm inside the ransacked house. I've ended my 2 movement at the very back, and as I end my movement, I reveal the insight mission, which came from card number 12. The insight mission is a rescue. It says, as you enter the ransacked house, you catch sight of a young girl hiding in the corner from the monsters stalking her. Once these creatures are dispatched, she can be rescued. Place 1 survivor token on the ransacked house space, interact with the survivor token, and reveal card 13. So there's a survivor in this house. I have 2 more cards left, and I'm going to choose to discard 1 to do an interact action, and allows me to interact with everything in the space, including the survivor and the consumables. So I'm going to choose to discard this stagger card right here, the basic one, and that's going to allow me to draw 2 consumable cards off the top of the deck. Here are the 2 cards I gained, a Sedative and Quicksilver Bullets. The Sedative is on the Hunter's turn. You can draw a card and remove 1 Frenzy token, and the other one is a Hunter turn Refreshing of the Firearm, which can be certainly very handy, seeing as mine is currently exhausted. The final part of my interact action will be with the survivor, so I read card 13, which is right here. You approach the girl cautiously. Suddenly, she bursts past you, darting out into the street, her eyes wide with fear. It tells us to move the survivor token 4 spaces away. She can reveal tiles during this move. At the end of each turn, she moves 1 space away from the nearest hunter, but no longer reveals tiles. You complete the mission by ending a move on the space with the survivor token, so you have to catch up to her, and have no enemies pursue into the space. Then you reveal another card, 14. I'm going to have the survivor move 4 spaces right towards the central lamp, because if I end up going into the hunter's dream and I come back out, she'll be very close to where I'm currently at. So I'm going to have her move there. Again, I could have actually had her go 1 and then 2 and then even headed south here to reveal some stuff. But being that we're so close to a reset, we don't really want to see many more enemies at this point. Now, right now, I'm at a safe distance away from the hunter mob, which is coming towards me at the ransacked house. Might make sense to go ahead right now and discard this card in order to do a transformation of my weapon here in order to clear the slots out and flip it to the opposite side. That's going to wrap up the hunter's turn. Let's go to the enemy activation. The hunter mob is going to move 1 space closer to us. The hunter mob enters the ransacked house. That'll do it for the enemy activation with no attack occurring. Now let's go ahead and uptake the track as we head into the next round of play. We are 1 away from a reset. We have no stack cards in hand to discard, so let's go ahead and draw up. We've only got 1 available in the deck so far. It's a dodge. We're going to have to reshuffle this and then draw 2 more. The deck is now ready to go. Let's draw 2 cards up and see what we get. We got ourselves a stagger as well as a draw 1. For this round, here's my plan. I'm going to go ahead and discard this card right here for 2 movement. We're going to go ahead and move into the same space as these individuals. And of course, that's not going to trigger them because I'm not at the end of my movement yet. After this, I've now moved out of a space with an enemy or moved out of a tile. In either case, these individuals are going to pursue. So they're going to come through here to me. And then I'm going to go ahead and discard another card in order to move 2 again. So 1 and then 2. At the end of my movement, they pursue again to here. But now I'm in the same space as a survivor token. And as it states right on the card here, complete the mission by ending a move on a space with a survivor token and have no enemies pursue into that space. We can reveal card 14. You grip the girl's arm, keeping her from further flight. I'm not infected. Please let me go, she pleads, tugging at your grip. Now that she is close, the girl does indeed reek of the beast stench, though whether this is from the plague or the blood covering her is undeterminable. Choose 1 to complete this mission. We can either strike the girl down and reveal card 15 or spare her and order her to flee. I chose to spare the girl, so the card states, Moment of Mercy. The hunter that completed this mission gains 1 consumable and the Carol Rune Eye reward. You lock eyes with the young girl and glimpse her humanity and fear. The Odon Chapel is all you say before releasing your grip. Between sobs, she nods before darting off into the night. As we've run through the entirety of the Insight mission, we come to the white card, and this is a collected insight. Counts for 1 towards the 2 we need to progress the chapter. And at this point, I'll go ahead and discard the final card I have in order to enter the Hunter's Dream. The first step of the Hunter's Dream is to advance the marker on the hunt track, which is actually going to push us onto the reset space. Before I continue with the Hunter's Dream, we need to do the forced reset right now. So we're going to go ahead and remove all non-boss miniatures from the game. All the consumable slots are now replenished, and now we go ahead and spawn per all of the icons across the game board. Now, if there was any boss miniatures on the game board, they're not removed like the non-boss miniatures, but they do replenish all their health. Inside the Hunter's Dream, all your discarded cards, cards in slots, everything's going back to the deck. We now get to discard our Blood Echoes in order to get upgraded cards for our deck. So let's head over to the Hunter's Dream. We've got 2 Blood Echoes to spend. Let's pick some new stuff up. For the first Blood Echo, here's the 4 we have to choose between. Visceral, here's a stagger plus 1 additional damage, which is nice. A dash, giving us a dodge, which is always good, allowing us to clear the slot as normal for a dodge. And then below it says when used to move, so we discard the card to move instead of moving 2 spaces. We get 3, which is great. Cheap Shot is pretty interesting. It has stagger, but it also has an effect. If an enemy in your space uses an ability, you can discard the card from your hand to deal them straight 2 damage. Pretty awesome. And defensively, you can block 2 damage. That is also very good. For my first one, I'm going to choose to take the dash here, and we're going to go ahead and remove a basic stagger from the deck. We now replenish ahead of spending the second Blood Echo, and we got ourselves a stagger. Ironically, this one allows us to clear the slot, but it also has dodge attached to it too. For my second Blood Echo, this is really tough. I actually like all 4 of these cards for different reasons, but the one I think I'm going to stick with, because I did just take one that allows me to clear the slot and dodge already, is I'll go with Cheap Shot. I was tempted to go for defense, but let's go with this so we can dole out some additional damage when the ability triggers. And I'll get this into my deck by removing another basic stagger card. I've also replenished the Hunter's Dream, but no more Blood Echoes to spend. So my Hunter's deck has 2 new cards in it, and 2 of the stagger basic cards have been removed. We're going to go ahead and refresh the Hunter Pistol. And I don't have any Frenzy or Poison tokens, so I don't have to worry about that, but my health does replenish back up to 6. And of course, my miniature is off the game board, as the second you go to the Hunter's Dream, the miniature is no longer on the board. And when you come back out of the Hunter's Dream, you're going to place yourself at a non-broken lamp. The only one I currently have in play is the central lamp. It'll be starting there. We're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to also uptick the round by 1, and then we're going to also go ahead and draw 3 cards up. So my Hunter is back at the central lamp. Here are the 3 cards off the top of the deck. We got 2 that revolve around dodging. We even got one of the ones we just picked up as an upgrade, which is nice, and a draw 1. And this being a brand new round, we uptick the marker to the next position. Let's begin the next Hunter's turn by heading north. We're already in a space that has 2 different pathways, so we might as well just go ahead and discard one of these dodge cards, and we'll explore to the north and see what we find. It appears we found the chapel, which is awesome. We'll go ahead and move 1 inside. The chapel also has a lamp, and it also has an effect here at the very top. It says enemy attacks suffer a -1 to speed while on this tile. So this is a great tile to pull enemies through strategically to be able to make those staggers as well as dodges easier to pull off, and that can hopefully have you take out some of the bigger, nastier enemies, especially if you're getting outnumbered. So a useful tile, but not one of the ones we're looking for in terms of the primary locations for chapter number 1. It states we need to find the courtyard lamp tile, the occupied house, and the ransacked house. We found the ransacked house. We're still looking for the courtyard and the occupied house. So let's keep looking. With the final point of movement, I'm actually going to potentially move back here, and maybe we'll head south. Let's go ahead and discard this basic draw 1 card to get 2 movement, and we'll use one of the movement to head south. Interesting indeed, we found another random tile here that has 2 enemies that'll be spawning. And this is pretty rough. We got a Scourge Beast in there as well as a Hunter Mob, and we're in the same space as the Hunter Mob. Now here's a little bit of interesting strategy right now. So I have 1 more move left. I could go ahead and move from where I'm at back into the central lamp to get out of here. But the thing is, the second I move out, I'm going to have pursuing happening from both of these enemies. The Hunter Mob will get into the same space. And this one moves 2 when pursuing or when activating. So it will also get into the same space as me. And then if I choose to use this card here, Dash, to move 3 spaces, I'm not going to probably be able to move fast enough to create distance. And I'll have these guys right on top of me. But instead, what I can do is not take advantage of my last point of movement from the movement I generated when I went 1 into here. I'll just dismiss the second point of movement, and we'll go ahead and we'll do this right now for movement. I'll discard this. So when it used to move 3 spaces, and we'll move 3 spaces while close to them so that at the end of the movement, when they pursue me, I'll have a greater distance from them. So after moving 3 spaces now, well, that card came in really handy. They're going to pursue me. Having that 3 move was absolutely crucial for staying a safe distance away from these enemies. I'm not out of harm's way yet, because if I end my hunter's turn right now and it goes into the enemy activation, the Scourge Beast moves 2, it will get into my space with 2 movement, and then it's going to attack me. So to be ready for that, I'm going to use my Sedative right now, because I can do this on the hunter's turn to draw a card. It gets me to remove 1 Frenzy, but that's not going to matter. I won't take advantage of that right now, but the extra drawing of a card might come in handy. Let's see what we get off the top of the deck. We got ourselves a Stagger, and it's the cheap shot one, so that works out nice. So if the enemy is in your space and use an ability, discard it from your hand to deal them 2 damage. That's a great card to have, so at least we got something. It's now time for the enemies to activate. The Hunter Mob activates first, and it makes its way into the chapel. Again, remember the effect that's on it, which means it's going to have a -1 to speed for any attacks that any enemy makes inside of this chapel. The Scourge Beast is coming in, moving 2 into the same space as me. And we head into a combat as the enemy attacks me. I'm going to choose to put my cheap shot in a fast slot here on my weapon. We'll put it in quick cut, because that's going to be beneficial, not only for the fact I'm placing Stagger in here, so attacks with Stagger deal an additional damage, so it's going to be 2 damage instead of the 1. It's also in the fast position, and a Stagger normally cannot do anything against a fast attack from the enemy, but because the enemy is in the chapel, the speed has been slowed. So no matter what this enemy gets off this draw, I'm going to be able to defend against it. The enemy action deck is comprised of 6 cards, as we know, 3 basic, 2 special, 1 ability. The ability's already been pulled out, so it has to be a special or a basic. Let's find out which one it is. It is a basic. That's going to be a quick swipe. It would normally be fast, but instead is reduced because of the chapel effect, which is going to drop it down to a medium speed for 2 damage. My hunter's doing a quick cut, which has Stagger, which means the enemy's attack will do no damage to me, but I am throwing 1 damage plus 1 because of the Stagger here for 2 against the Scourge Beast, which has a health of 4. We're ready to move on to our next round, so we move the hunt track up by 1, and we're going to draw up 3 cards as we have none in hand. Let's find out the 3 cards we have in hand. We got ourselves a basic plus 1 damage, we have a dodge card, always good, and a draw 1. Now, if I was to go ahead and attack the Scourge Beast to try and take it out right now, it might be a wise decision, because we know exactly what's coming next. It's a special, which will be a medium speed attack reduced by 1, so it'll be a slow speed attack, making it quite easy to get our first hit in before the enemy does and take it out. Over here on the far right, I've got myself a slash for 2 damage, which I could use in order to take this thing down. Plus, I could draw a card right back up by using this one, so let's go ahead and do exactly that. The final enemy card gets revealed. It's a special, as we know. It's going to be a medium attack reduced by 1, so it's slow, which means my medium attack is happening first, and we have to draw a card, of course, when we place this in. So I got myself a plus 1 damage. We're doing 2 damage to that Scourge Beast. It's been taken out, and we get a Blood Echo. So a nice clean kill. We didn't take any damage, and we can certainly try and progress a little further and find another insight mission. After the final card is pulled, as we just did, which was a special, we go ahead and replenish the enemy action deck. So that's been reshuffled. We have no idea what's coming in the future. I'm going to go ahead and discard a basic 1 damage card here in order to generate 2 movement, and we're going to head off to the east. And we found the occupied house. So we have an occupied house here. There was a hunter mob in this place. We have 1 point of movement left, and after we're done spending that, if we choose to, we are being pursued by this hunter mob right here in the adjacent tile as well. They'll be moving closer to us. Now, to provide myself some more space, I'll use my final point of movement to move to the back space over here, but both of these are going to be pursuing me now. Now, before we go any further, we've ended our movement, and at this point, based on the Long Hunt Chapter 1 mission card, when we end our move on the occupied house, we reveal card 8. The insight mission is called a safe haven. It certainly doesn't feel like one with all these hunter mobs coming after me. It says you knock on the door. From inside, a frail and elderly voice addresses you. A hunter. About time you showed up. It ain't safe out here for an old woman. Reckon you can take me someplace to wait out the night? Now it states place a survivor token on the occupied house space. Any hunter can pick up the token when they move out of the space. The tokens return to the occupied house space if the hunter teleports or goes to the dream. You're trying to end a move on the chapel tile with the token. This is awesome because literally it is right beside me. So I'm going to do what any brave hunter's going to do. We're going to run, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to discard this basic plus 1 damage card. I'm going to keep my dodge for later because I'll probably need it. We're going to go ahead and take this and chuck it, and that is going to allow us to move 2 when I choose to move out of this space with these individuals. I can take the token with me. We're going to go 1 and 2 right back into the chapel itself. After ducking back inside the chapel, the hunter mob, which was outside the occupied house, does not like this and is pursuing me. However, I did exactly what the insight mission instructed me to do, so I get to reveal card number 9, and it states, "The smell of beast warding incense fills your nose as you enter the old chapel. The old woman thanks you for your kindness before taking refuge with another small band of townsfolk. Suddenly, the chapel's magnificent stained glass window shatters as a scourge beast crashes through." It tells me to reveal card number 10, which I've done. I place it off to the right. We'll look at it in just a second. It also tells me to surround the chapel tile with fog gates and spawn one Scourge Beast on a specific icon space inside the chapel. It responds to that space every single time we have to reset and we hit that trigger. It is immune to the effect of the chapel as well, which is not good. And we complete the mission by slaying this Scourge Beast. Then we can reveal the next card, number 11. The chapel changed quite a bit here. We have a broken lamp, but we have 3 fog gates trapping a Scourge Beast, referenced by this card right here, and the Hunter Mob that was already inside of here within the chapel. Now let's check out the Ferocious card that came along with the Scourge Beast inside of the chapel. It says place 1 insight token on this card. If there's 3+ hunters, place 1 additional token. There is not. When the Scourge Beast would be slain, instead remove 1 token and heal all the damage from it. All tokens are returned on a reset, and you replace its special with what is shown below. So even though the Scourge Beast has a special we've seen on the card, this is the special that this specific Scourge Beast will be using. Now, something I forgot to show on screen, but I did take it out and put it beside the dashboard, just didn't visually show you guys, but I got this when I completed the last insight mission over here, and this card, as you can see on the other side, says, during a hunter turn, discard 1 card from your hand to return 1 card from your discard. Pretty handy. I've got 2 major paths I can go. 1, I can stick around right now. I could potentially stop my hunter's turn, move into the enemy activation, take on 2 attacks from both the enemies inside the fog gates. I do have the dodge card I could use. I do have the ability to use my hunter pistol to stagger. I could even go ahead and reload it with a quicksilver bullet. So I think defensively I'd be okay to get to the next round and then be able to try and make some attacks. But here's the kicker. My actual weapon down below here has 2 of 3 slots filled. So if I wanted to get that dealt with, I'd have to go ahead and ditch my dodge card, which again puts me all on banking on the hunter pistol, which I don't really like when these 2 nasty enemies are sitting in my space. So it might make more sense to head back to the Hunter's Dream, spend my Blood Echo, get my deck basically sorted and upgraded, as well as clearing out my trick weapon, and come back in to this lamp right here and then pop back inside the fog gate. So I'm going to do exactly that. We're going to head to the Hunter's Dream, taking myself out of the location, spending the dodge card in order to do it. The hunt track is going to get updated by 1 slot, putting us right before reset. I take all of my cards that are currently in play and place them off to the side, spend a Blood Echo in order to take one of these upgrade cards. I'm going to choose to take Tactical. It allows me to dodge. It allows me to attack or dodge at +1 speed, and I can clear the slot. I'm going to remove a basic draw 1 from my deck. The next card coming into the Hunter's Dream is Agile with a stagger and an increase of speed. We're now coming out of the Hunter's Dream. I flipped my trick weapon over to the opposite side, so I have the effect on kill to draw 1 and heal 1, plus the heavy carve, which I really like. It doles out a lot of damage. We're going to go ahead and increase this to a reset as well. My miniature is back at the central lamp tile, drawn up 3 cards. We have to do that full reset at this point. Not much ended up changing, but the Hunter Mob that was inside the chapel is now back where it originally spawned, and also a Scourge Beast has been placed here as well, so all the spawning has been done for the non-boss monsters. Everything's been reset, and again, there'll be instructions on some of the cards, like inside the fog gates, for instance, as to what you do with this monster, but there's nothing to do because we didn't place any damage on it, but if we had of, it would have actually healed up all of its damage. I'm going to go ahead and use Cheap Shot here, discarding this in order to give me 2 movement points to get me inside the fog gate in order to take on this enemy. So 1 and 2 will get me in the same space. Now we're going to go ahead and make an attack. I'm going to use Basic with a +1 damage into the heavy carve location. It's a slow attack, but it does 4 damage. Now let's see what the enemy is throwing at us off the top of the deck. It's going to be a basic attack, so this is not going to trigger its special ability, but the basic attack is a quick swipe. It's going to be a fast attack, so it is going to be quicker than ours. It's going to do 2 damage against us unless we dodge it. Now what I'm going to do instead of that is I'm going to hold on to the dodge for when the enemy activation happens after my turn is done. I'm going to keep that in my back pocket for defense, and instead I'm going to use the Hunter Pistol because the enemy pulled a basic attack, and we're going to automatically stagger the enemy, canceling its attack against us. And now my slow, heavy carve attack is going to do 4 damage against the Scourge Beast, which is not going to kill it because it has the Insight token, which is going to remove the Insight token. I'll need another 4 damage to take it down. And that's going to do it for my Hunter turn. We're moving on to the enemy activation. The Hunter mob outside the fog gate is not going to activate. It's not going to move in. It's going to stay exactly where it is. This one right here, which is the Scourge Beast inside, is certainly going to attack me. So we're going to go ahead and pull a special card right now. I am not going to use this to actually initiate an attack as part of this, but I can still use that card to dodge in defense. So let's go ahead and draw the top card off the enemy action deck, see what we get. We got ourselves a special. Well, we're about to find out what this special is all about. The Blood Frenzy is a fast attack, 2 damage. It deals 2 additional damage if the Scourge Beast has damage on it. If the Scourge Beast is slain, the Hunter must dodge at a slow pace or suffer 3 damage. So the 4 damage I did cleanly took off the Insight token, so there's no current damage on it. It still has its life amount of 4, so no additional damage is coming through, but we're certainly going to want to use a dodge here to try to prevent any damage from happening. So to do that, I'm going to have to put it in a fast slot. So I'm going to go ahead and do exactly that, placing it into Quick Cut, and then immediately discarding it, and this is going to negate any damage coming to me. On to the next round we go. We'll go ahead and move our marker 1 space down the track. Now it's time to find out what 3 cards we're going to get off the top of the deck. The first one is a Tactical Dodge we recently upgraded and got, a basic Stagger, and last but not least, a basic +1. Now to better prepare for what might be coming at me from the Scourge Beast and the fact that I've already used my most powerful attack here in the heavy carve, I'm going to go ahead and use my Eye rune here, and this is going to allow me to discard 1 card from our hand to return 1 card from the discard pile. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to discard this Stagger right here. And we're going to go ahead and take the Cheap Shot card back into our hand because I think this could be advantageous if it happens to pull its ability, which could be possible now that a special and a basic have come out. The odds are starting to increase. The ability one could come through, and I could get a cheap 2 damage on for that. Now, this one is exhausted for the time being, can come back once we go to the Hunter's Dream, but that's really nice. I'm going to initiate an attack by placing the basic +1 in the slot with Slash. It's a medium in terms of speed, so it's going to be 3 damage there. Let's go ahead and drop the enemy action card and see what we pull off here. I'm hoping for the ability off the top of the deck. It is just a basic this time, so we'll go ahead and put that off to the side. So a basic is going to be a quick swipe. It's going to be fast at 2 damage, but again, I have a dodge here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this attack here, this dodge card. I'm going to place this in my quick cut position, which is fast, and that will allow me to go ahead and clear the slot and immediately not take any damage from the attack of the Scourge Beast, and then I'm going to throw 3 damage at it. I certainly wish I had the additional damage to take this thing out. I am very close to killing it. Now I'm going to go ahead and choose to hold on to my Quicksilver Bullets, which I could use right now during the Hunter's turn to refresh my firearm, but I do have this Cheap Shot. I can use it for Stagger, or I could use it if it pulls ability on me when it goes into the enemy activation, which is going to happen right now because I'm ending off my Hunter's turn, and that enemy certainly wants to attack me back. I'm going to choose not to go ahead and put anything in here to do any kind of an attack, although technically I could actually do that by putting it in here. I might be able to slice it before it even has a chance to attack me. The only way that could go sideways is if it happens to pull, a basic or something else. But honestly, I might as well go ahead and just do that. I guess it makes sense because it guarantees that I can kill it during this upcoming attack. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll do an attack for 1 damage. It's very fast, but let's see what the enemy's doing first. The enemy here got a basic, so they're also attacking fast, which means they're going to do 2 damage to me. So technically, I probably should have reloaded that pistol. I could have actually avoided this, but unfortunately, I will be taking 2 hits, which is a-okay, but I'll be throwing 1 damage back at it for the attack of the quick cut, and that is going to allow me to kill off this ferocious beast. The ferocious beast has been slain, and we took some hits in the process, but we survived the night. As it states here, we distribute a consumable, I'll draw in a second, as well as claw mark reward. We gain both of those, and as it states at the bottom, the warding incense usually repels such beasts during the hunt. For them to not only attack the chapel, but also appear unaffected by the incense, there is something greater than mere instinct driving them this night. Check out the consumable I just picked up called Cold Blood Dew. On the Hunter turn, I can gain 1 Blood Echo. And speaking of Blood Echoes, I just took down a beast, so I'm gaining 1 Blood Echo into my pool automatically. I also gained the rune, the Claw Mark. We'll go ahead and flip it over and see what it's all about. On attack, replace your stat card's effect with a +1 damage and stagger. That's pretty sweet. With the Insight mission now complete, the fog gates are going to fall as well as the lamp being restored. Now, as I mentioned on screen, when the Insight mission originally told us to place fog gates around the chapel and then place that ferocious beast inside of it, any other enemies that are inside the fog gates at that time are removed. So I should have removed the hunter mob that was in there. It didn't have any gameplay impact because I did not attack it. It didn't attack me. And eventually it got respawned elsewhere anyway, but it should have been removed when the fog gates were placed, as I mentioned on screen. Just want to highlight that. But other than that, things are cleared up. We got 2 collected insight at this point, which means we have the collected insight we need to head back to the central lamp right here in order to complete and progress the chapter. It's time to head into a brand new round. It's time to find out what 3 cards we're getting off the top of the deck. To head into this round, we got ourselves a dodge, we have a basic draw 1, and finally another dodge. And this, my friends, is a perfect spot to wrap up part number 1 of rolling through Bloodborne, the board game from Come On Games. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought about what you saw so far, and stay tuned to the channel as we dive further into gameplay for the Long Hunt campaign. Thanks again, and as always, keep on rolling solo.